The massive alien ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, their metallic hulls gleaming with an ominous dark gray that blocked out the sunlight. Jay Park stood in the glass-walled command center, his eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing the incoming invasion fleet. The room was silent, with only the soft hum of computers and the rapid breathing of military personnel breaking the tension. The Collective, a ruthless alien civilization known for conquering hundreds of peaceful worlds, had spent months studying Earth. They believed humans were primitive, technologically backward, and easy to defeat. Their intelligence reports suggested a quick, decisive victory would take no more than 72 hours. Captain Kim watched the screens, her hands gripping the edge of the control panel. Her team had been tracking the alien approach for weeks, preparing for a scenario most people would have considered impossible just months ago. Around her, young military specialists worked frantically, their fingers dancing across advanced computer systems. Jay noticed how the first wave of alien ships began. Their descent. They were massive, each vessel easily the size of 3 football stadiums. The ships moved with a calculated precision that suggested decades of military planning. But what the aliens didn't know was that humanity had been preparing too. In small, research facilities across the globe, scientists had been developing unconventional defense mechanisms. They understood that traditional warfare would not work against such an advanced enemy. Instead, they focused on adaptability, innovation, and unpredictability. The first alien dropships touched down in open fields near major cities. Their metallic legs crushed grass and earth, creating massive craters where they landed. Robotic infantry began emerging, tall, mechanical beings with multiple arms and advanced weaponry that looked like something from a nightmare. In Seoul, military units were already mobilizing. Tanks rolled out from hidden underground facilities and fighter jets scrambled from camouflaged runways. The city looked like a well-oiled machine, every movement calculated and precise. Jay knew their strategy was simple: resist, confuse, and counterattack. The aliens expected a traditional military response. Instead, they would face something entirely unexpected. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology, but its ability to adapt and think creatively. The first communication attempts from the aliens were met with sophisticated jamming technologies. Their signals became distorted, their navigation systems confused. What should have been a straightforward invasion was already becoming complicated. Local populations were being evacuated systematically. Years of disaster preparedness had taught humans how to move large groups quickly and efficiently. Underground shelters, previously designed for natural disasters, now became potential military installations. Outside the command center, the sky grew dark. Alien ships continued to descend, their shadows covering entire cities. But beneath those shadows, something was brewing, a resistance that the Collective could never have anticipated. Jay looked at Captain Kim. No words were needed. They both understood what was about to happen. This was more than a battle. This was humanity's moment to prove its worth in a universe that had always considered them insignificant. The first weapons fired. The first explosions erupted. The invasion of Earth had officially begun. But the aliens would soon learn a critical lesson. Humanity was never going to go down without a fight. In research labs, military bases, and hidden facilities around the world, people were preparing. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, and ordinary citizens were united by a single purpose. They would defend their home no matter the cost. The Collective thought they were bringing conquest. Instead, they were about to encounter something far more dangerous. A species with an unbreakable spirit and an unexpected capacity for survival. Jay Park watched the screens, a slight smile crossing his face. The real battle was just beginning. The alien communication systems hit Earth's networks like a storm, expecting instant penetration. Hyun Lee sat in a dimly lit room filled with massive computer servers, his fingers hovering above an advanced quantum keyboard. Around him, other cyber specialists worked silently, their eyes locked on rapidly changing screens. When the first wave of alien digital infiltration began, most technological systems would have collapsed, but not Earth's network. Yoon had spent months preparing complex encryption algorithms designed specifically to counter potential extraterrestrial intrusion. The alien signals tried to breach government databases, military communication channels, and critical infrastructure networks. Each attempt was met with a sophisticated defense mechanism that not only blocked their entry, but sent cascading feedback loops directly back to their source. In the Global Communication Network Center, temperatures rose as computer systems worked. Over time, Hyun's team had created a digital maze that would confuse any technological intelligence. The aliens weren't just being blocked, they were being systematically misdirected. Massive quantum computers generated random encryption patterns, faster than the aliens could process. What should have been a simple data invasion turned into a complex digital battlefield where humanity held a surprising advantage. Military communication channels remained secure. The aliens discovered that each attempt to gather intelligence resulted in more confusion. Their sophisticated technological systems were being outmaneuvered by human creativity and unexpected computational strategies. Outside the facility, the first physical confrontations had begun. Alien dropships encountered resistance that completely contradicted their initial intelligence reports. Military units moved with a coordination that suggested weeks of preparation. Hyun watched as digital representations of alien invasion attempts collapsed on his screens. Red error messages replaced what should have been successful network penetrations. Each blocked signal was a small victory for humanity. The global cyber defense network worked like a living organism. When one system was targeted, others immediately shifted, creating a dynamic defense that was impossible to predict or counter. The aliens had expected a rigid, predictable technological infrastructure. Instead, they found a fluid, adaptive system. In underground research facilities, scientists monitored the digital battlefield. They weren't just defending, they were learning. Every alien signal provided new information about extraterrestrial technology and communication methods. Satellite networks across the planet redirected alien signals, creating a global web of digital deception. What the aliens thought was valuable, intelligence was actually a carefully constructed maze of misinformation. Hyun's team had prepared for this moment. They understood that modern warfare wasn't just about physical combat, but about controlling information. Each block signal, each redirected communication was a strategic victory. The aliens began to realize something was wrong. Their supposedly superior technology was being challenged by a species they had considered technologically primitive. Confusion spread through their command structures. Military bases around the world received secure communications. The cyber defense had worked perfectly, providing crucial time for physical preparations. Humanity was ready. As alien ships continued their descent, their communication systems became increasingly compromised. Navigation data became unreliable. Tactical information turned into nonsensical streams of corrupted data. Hyun allowed himself a small smile. The first battle of this invasion would be fought in the digital realm, and humanity was winning. The Global Communication Network Center hummed with energy. Computers processed millions of data streams per second, creating a defense more complex than any alien technology had anticipated. Outside, the first physical confrontations were beginning. But the real war had already started in the digital world, a battlefield where humanity's creativity and adaptability would prove to be its most powerful weapon. The aliens had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated human potential. And now they would pay the price. The mountain base was cold and quiet, but inside, Sujin's coordination center buzzed with intense activity. Maps covered every wall, showing global resistance points where human teams were preparing to strike against the alien invasion. Outside, alien ground forces moved systematically through urban landscapes, believing their technological superiority guaranteed victory. They were wrong. Each city block became a potential battleground, and humanity's resistance was about to show its true strength. Sujin studied the tactical displays, her fingers tracing potential attack routes. She understood that traditional military strategies wouldn't work against a technologically advanced enemy. They needed something different, Unpredictability. Small teams of resistance fighters were positioned in strategic locations around the globe. They weren't just soldiers. They were engineers, scientists, former police officers, and ordinary citizens who refused to surrender. Each team had specific instructions: disrupt, confuse, and counterattack. In Tokyo, a group of tech workers used modified construction equipment to create electromagnetic interference zones. In Rio de Janeiro, former Special Forces operators prepared urban guerrilla tactics. In Cairo, scientists developed quick-response technological countermeasures. The aliens had expected a straightforward military confrontation. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that could transform any environment into a potential battlefield. Local populations became active participants in the resistance. Civilian communication networks shared real-time information about alien movements. What looked like random civilian activity was actually a sophisticated intelligence-gathering system. Su Jin's communication system received constant updates. Each report showed how human creativity was turning potential defeat into unexpected resistance. Alien patrol units found themselves trapped in complex urban environments where every street, every building, could become a weapon. Underground tunnels, originally designed for transportation and emergency services, now became strategic movement routes for resistance teams. The aliens' advanced scanning technologies struggled to track human movements in these complex networks. In suburban areas, residents used everyday technology in unexpected ways. Satellite dishes became signal jammers. Home security systems transformed into surveillance networks. Delivery drones were repurposed for reconnaissance missions. The resistance wasn't just about fighting. It was about sending a message. Humanity would not be easily conquered. Alien ground forces started experiencing unexpected complications. Communication between their units became increasingly difficult. Local resistance teams used sophisticated, jamming technologies that turned their advanced communication systems into useless equipment. Su Jin watched as resistance teams struck quickly and disappeared just as fast. They attacked alien supply lines, disrupted communication networks, and created strategic chaos. Each successful mission boosted human morale and decreased alien confidence. Military strategists around the world had prepared for this moment. They understood that defeating a technologically superior enemy required more than traditional warfare. It needed adaptability, creativity, and an unbreakable spirit. The alien command structure began to show signs of confusion. Their initial reports of an easy victory were being replaced by increasingly desperate communication attempts. Humanity was proving to be a far more complex opponent than they had anticipated. In mountain bases, urban centers, and hidden facilities, resistance teams continued their coordinated efforts. They weren't just defending their planet. They were showing the universe that humanity would never surrender. Su Jin knew that each small victory mattered. Every disrupted alien operation, every saved human life was a step towards ultimate resistance. The fight was far from over, but humanity had already proven something crucial. They were not victims. As alien ships continued to darken the skies, resistance teams prepared for their next move. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and humanity was ready to fight with everything they had. The universe was about to learn a valuable lesson: never underestimate human determination. The underground research facility hummed with an electric energy of anticipation. Wu Sung stood before a massive holographic display, his team of scientists working frantically around complex machinery that looked more like art than technology. Months of constant alien bombardment had pushed human scientific capabilities beyond their previous limitations. What once seemed impossible was now becoming reality. The quantum physics laboratory had transformed from a theoretical research center into humanity's most critical weapon. Outside the facility, alien ships continued their assault. But inside, something remarkable was happening. Wu understood that defeating a technologically superior enemy required more than traditional thinking. They needed to rewrite the rules of technological engagement. His team had discovered a critical weakness in alien shield technologies. By understanding the quantum resonance of their advanced defensive systems, they could create targeted electromagnetic pulses that would completely disable entire alien squadrons. The first prototype sat in the center of the laboratory, a device, no larger than a briefcase but capable of generating a pulse that could neutralize advanced alien technology. Traditional weapons had failed. This was different. Computer screens displayed complex mathematical equations and quantum wave patterns. Each calculation brought humanity closer to a breakthrough that could change the entire course of the invasion. Young scientists worked with an intensity born of desperation and hope. They knew each breakthrough could save millions of lives. The weight of human survival rested on their shoulders. Wu's primary discovery involved manipulating quantum frequencies in ways the aliens could never predict. Their technology relied on precise, predictable systems. Humanity's strength was its ability to be completely unpredictable. Test results showed promise. Initial simulations demonstrated that their new technology could not just defend against alien systems, but could potentially turn their own advanced weaponry against them. The facility was a maze of advanced equipment. Quantum computers processed information at speeds that would have been impossible just months earlier. Each machine represented humanity's collective determination to survive. Military representatives watched the tests with a mixture of hope and anxiety. They understood that this might be humanity's last chance. If this technology failed, the invasion would succeed. Wu's team had been working without proper sleep for weeks. Their dedication was fueled by something more powerful than caffeine, a complete commitment to protecting their planet. The first full-scale test would determine everything. A small device connected to multiple monitoring systems sat ready to generate a pulse that could change the course of the entire invasion. As Wu initiated the test, the room went completely silent. Computer screens flickered. Advanced monitoring. Equipment showed complex energy patterns that seemed to defy known scientific principles. The pulse generated was unlike anything previously conceived. It didn't just disable alien technology. It completely reprogrammed their systems, turning their most advanced weapons into useless metal. Military strategists watching the live feed realized they had just witnessed a complete game-changer. This wasn't just a defensive technology. This was a weapon that could completely turn the tide of the invasion. Wu understood the significance of their breakthrough. They hadn't just created a weapon. They had proven that human creativity and adaptability could overcome seemingly insurmountable technological challenges. Reports began streaming in from around the globe. Alien systems were failing. Their most advanced weapons were becoming inoperable. The technological superiority they had relied on was suddenly neutralized. The research facility erupted in cautious celebration. They knew the battle was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion began, humanity had a real chance of victory. Wu looked at his team. No words were necessary. They had just demonstrated something profound. Human potential was limitless when pushed to its absolute limits. The quantum pulse device represented more than a technological breakthrough. It was a symbol of human resilience, creativity, and an unbreakable spirit of survival. The aliens had chosen the wrong planet to invade. The United Nations emergency chamber was silent, tension thick in the air. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center, representing humanity in the most critical diplomatic moment in Earth's history. Around her, holographic displays showed the devastating results of the human counteroffensive. The alien collective's delegation looked defeated. Their once proud representatives now sat with slumped shoulders, their advanced technological appearance suddenly seeming fragile and vulnerable. Months of invasion had transformed into a complete disaster for them. Earth's military had not just defended, they had launched a counteroffensive that penetrated deep into alien territory. Using the quantum pulse technologies developed by Wu Sung's team, human forces had systematically disabled entire alien fleet sections. Global communication networks showed real-time images of alien ships drifting helplessly in space. Their once mighty invasion force was now reduced to scattered, disabled vessels. Humanity had turned the tables completely. Elena's voice was calm but firm. "Your invasion has failed," she stated, looking directly at the alien representatives. "You underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, to fight, to survive." The alien leaders tried to negotiate, but they had no leverage. Their technological superiority had been completely neutralized. Every strategic advantage they thought they possessed had been systematically dismantled by human creativity and determination. Reports from around the globe confirmed the total defeat of the alien ground forces. Cities that were once under attack were now celebrating. The invasion that was supposed to take 72 hours had turned into a months-long conflict that ended in complete alien defeat. Military strategists began documenting the conflict. It would become a case study of how a seemingly inferior species could overcome tremendous technological disadvantages through innovation, adaptability, and an unbreakable spirit. The negotiations were clear. The collective would be required to pay massive reparations. They would be banned from approaching Earth's solar system. More importantly, they would be forced to acknowledge humanity as a significant galactic power. In research facilities, scientists were already studying the captured alien technologies. What was once an invasion was now becoming the greatest technological learning opportunity in human history. Elena watched as the alien representatives signed the surrender documents. Their hands trembled, a universal sign of defeat that transcended species. Humanity had not just survived, they had proven their worth to the universe. Global communication networks broadcast the moment. People from every continent watched as their representatives secured a victory that would be remembered for generations. This was more than a military triumph. It was a testament to human potential. The alien leader made one final statement. "We never understood your species," he said, his translated voice carrying a mixture of respect and fear. "Your unpredictability is your greatest weapon." Outside the chamber, celebration began. Cities that had been under siege now erupted in joy. Military personnel embraced, scientists cheered, and ordinary citizens realized they had survived something extraordinary. Wusung's quantum technologies would change humanity's future. The scientific breakthroughs made during the conflict would propel human technology forward by decades, perhaps even centuries. Elena understood this was more than a diplomatic moment. This was a turning point for human civilization. They were no longer just an earthbound species. They were now recognized as a galactic power. The alien fleet's remnants began their long journey home, a journey of defeat and humiliation. They would tell stories of the planet that was supposed to be an easy conquest, the species that was supposed to be primitive. Instead, they had found a civilization that would fight to the last, that could turn technological disadvantages into ultimate victory. As the final documents were signed, Elena looked out the window. The sky, once filled with alien ships, was now clear. Humanity had defended its home, and in doing so, had changed everything.